Okay. Hello everyone. I'm going to show you something I've been thinking about quite a lot. It was brought up in one of my guide chats a while back, a few weeks ago, and I've been looking at it. It's really interesting. I've just gone into practice mode and taken a look at just a few different adjustments, and I just want to show you what I've been doing. So this is a shot that I recorded. Didn't touch the target, I just picked any. I'm not adjusting, if you look at the wind angle, I'm not adjusting for the wind properly. But what you'll find in one of my guides and in a lot of guides out there is when you are adjusting, we will try to account for different wind angles, because your discrepancy on your wind angle is around about 8 degrees, so it could be pointing that way, or that way. So slight discrepancies, and on a shot like this, it would make you drive, go a little bit further, go a little bit shorter. But on a par 3, it can mean you can miss by an inch to the left or an inch to the right. And what I tend to do is give tweaks to get that drop. Now, somebody mentioned to me, or I've had it a few times, do you measure the wind angle, check the wind angle when from the center screen or the take shot button? Someone mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. Generally, what we're looking for is, like, say, the position of this tree. So wherever that tree is, or maybe this tree, you know, if that's directly behind this arrow, then you've got the tailwind, because, you know, you're facing more, your wind's facing more sort of up the fairway. But it got me thinking, and I've noticed something that I can't believe I've not noticed it before, and I don't think anybody has, to be honest. So now we're measuring from the take shot button or from the center of the screen. You can see that there's not much in it. If you see where the wind arrow is pointing now, just when I screenshot on my iPad, I get this little box. And you can see right there that there's a discrepancy between where the bullseye is. You know, I generally line up with the wind arrow, with the take shot button, but a lot of people that use crosshairs use this line, which will be a crosshair that's dead central on the screen. Now I use the take shot button. And people that don't use grids generally use the take shot button. Now let me show you something. What I'm going to do is just play. I'm going to make a 10 ring adjustment. So what I want you to do is keep your eye on directly behind. So you're looking at this sort of tree. Keep your eye on directly behind when I make this adjustment. Well, I'm not making the adjustment, but I would normally set up with the ball. I'm just going to go back and watch that again. I would normally set up with the ball for the take shot button. You know that little white ball, sort of there, and I would adjust. I would pull down 10 rings. Now, if you're looking at the tree behind, it's sort of dead in line. Now, on my guide, I might have a yellow arrow, a blue arrow, and a red arrow, one pointing to the left, one pointing at the tree, and one pointing to the right. Now, watch if I shift to the center. So what I've done right there is I've shifted to, so I'm going to make a central line. There you go, I've shifted sort of centre screen, just off centre screen. But you'll see that the tree is now to the left of where we're looking. And I think that's more central there. I'll see what that looks like. So let's put a centre line. That's dead centre. So the bullseye's dead centre and the tree is to the left. Okay. Now watch this. Now I'll move to where the take shot button is. I haven't moved the target. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a dead straight line and then move it to where my target is, which is directly behind the take shot button, which is where I adjust from. Now, where's the tree? It's no longer to the left. Now, I've not moved the target, I've just moved the screen. So now the target is directly in line with that tree. So if I've got a guide that says red arrow, blue arrow, yellow arrow, and then have a different set of figures, curl, overpower, spins, or whatever for each one, we're going to use the wrong one if one person's using the take shot little ball to adjust and the other's using a centralised grid line. Now watch this. This is obviously ran out of time, so I made another video and I do something different this time. So what I'm doing is I'm going to set the blue line, so just a reference point right there, the blue ring is on the rough line, and I'm going to adjust using the take shot button 10 rings. Forget about the wind angle, let's just pretend we've got the wind that I'm adjusting for here. I'm going to move 10 rings. Now, keep your eye on the plus yards. Keep your eye on these plus yards when I adjust. 10 rings. So what's the plus yards? Plus 25. So sometimes in my guides, I will say we'll make an adjustment, and then after the adjustment, if you are at, let's say, plus 21 to plus 23, use a set amount of spins. If you're at plus 25 to plus 27, use a certain set of spins. And that means that you've got a different wind angle, more crosswind, more headwind, more tailwind, or whatever. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back to the position, which is blue ring on the rough there. There you go, blue ring on the rough. And now you can see I'm going to use the take shot button. And let's just check that my position's good. I did line this up by eye. But I think I've got a reasonable eye for things like that. So there you can see I'm just about central. So as if I was using a central grid line. Keep your eye on the plus yards. Let's make a 10 ring adjustment right there. Now check the plus yards. Plus 24. So that's gone from plus 25 to plus 24. And that is because I'm adjusting at a different part of the screen. Let's do it again. From 31 yards, let's go to the right side of the take shot button, just to exaggerate the theory. I'm going to move 10 rings, plus 22. So plus 22, plus 24, and adjusting with the take shot button, without rotating the screen at all, it's plus 25. So depending on where you use to adjust, Do you use a dead central or do you use the take shot button? To adjust, then that really is gonna massively affect the shot that you're taking. I did this again. Just had a few looks at this and got the same result sort of every time. But that for me is the discussion that we had the other week. I could have just ignored that, but I've spent quite a lot of time, and I actually I've made a video for this and posted it to YouTube for Ultimate Golf, not for Golf Clash, but for Ultimate Golf, because it's even more magnified on that game because of the fixed reference points, because there's no nearly central take shot button. You can see there, 10 rings, definitely a 10 ring adjustment using the take shot button, down to 25. And then using a central line, in the top of the take shot button, 10 rings plus 24. Absolute game changer. So my advice is going to be what I would like everybody to do who follows my guides is there's a quick fix, because I don't think it's fair. I don't use grid lines. Now, I don't mind using grid lines if everybody was using grid lines, but I know that there's quite a lot of people that follow my guides that also don't use grid lines and don't have the facility to use grid lines. So maybe playing on an iPhone or something like that, where if you do turn on the voice grids, you get huge lag and it's really difficult to play. And there's no other facility to enable grid lines. I know if you're on Android, you can pretty much do what you want. Or if you have a jailbroke device, you can do what you want. But there is an easy fix. Now, I spoke to the guy that really got into this, and I think it was him that sort of brought it up and noticed this at the same time as I did, a guy called Ethan Shaw. Friend of mine has followed my guides for a while, and he uses Material Q, and he uses a code to place a grid line right here. So right on the take shot button, a completely vertical line on the take shot button, and uses that for his adjustments. You can have a sort of a horizontal line as well if you wanted, whatever setup you want, all different, sort of something like that. But rather than being like that, centralized, he has it set up there. So Ethan gave me the code earlier, and I'm happy to share that with you. And I hope Ethan doesn't mind me just sort of sharing personal messages, but I've asked him about this and I think it's fine. So he's shared the code that he uses, but it's basically it says inset top 30%, bottom 0, left 337.5 dp, and it's basically, I think it's just trial and error to get a grid line from the top of that take shot ball to wherever. So whenever you're making your adjustment, or should I say checking the wind angle, but really it should be whenever you're making your adjustment, you should really need to be using the line, the horizontal line that is dead in line with the take shot button ball, the top of the ball. So your line needs to be, if you're following my guides, right there. And I think I've just demonstrated the difference between there and there. And I do often see in when people send me their shots and they say, why did this miss? And there's times when you just can't pin it down, and they come to the conclusion that they've just got to use an extra 0.1 right spin or something like that, and then they drop it every time. So and now that I've noticed this, everything's falling into place, and I'm absolutely convinced that this is going to really improve drop rates. And you know, for the people that do follow my guides, or basically follow anyone's guides, you know, it's not just about me, it's about improving anybody's game. And if you are working collaboratively, whether it's sharing shots with your friend, with your clan, or whether it's, you know, following a guide, or, you know, just following a shot on YouTube or whatever, something that you really, really need to take a lot of care with. If you know, I mean, I'm shooting sort of 36, 37s in master. People are playing identical shots and nailing them down to the last pixel, and shooting 31s, 32s, you know, and I really do believe, and time will tell, but I really do believe that this is going to be a really big change in the drop rate of some of my customers. So if people will take this on board, and please get yourself a grid line. It may come to it that I need to use grids myself, which I don't want to do, because like I say, I will be isolating people that can't use grid lines if I do that. And I've never used one, so it'd be a little bit of a learning curve for me. But really, this line from the ball, you know, a vertical line, dead vertical line from that ball is my recommendation. If everybody does the same thing, everybody sets the shot up looking exactly the same, we're going to reduce discrepancies. We're going to see more drops. I'm 100% convinced of this. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to listen. And I genuinely believe that this is going to change the process of shot sharing and guide making. It's all about the perspective. It's all about the perspective. You can move left, you can move right in game, but the background changes. Thanks for watching. Do me a favour, hit subscribe. I haven't put many videos up for a while, but please sub to the channel if you don't mind. And let's go win some more tournaments. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Appreciate it.